You always wanted to be the good one, didn't you? The kind one, the one who doesn't hurt anyone. You wear morality like perfume, not because it's pure, but because you're afraid of what you'd smell like without it. You tell yourself you're trying your best, that your intentions are good. But intentions are a shield for the weak, a story people tell when they can't bear to see what they've really done. Let's stop pretending. You know exactly what you're capable of, the cruelty that flashes through your mind for a second before you bury it, the envy that coils in your chest when someone else wins, the quiet satisfaction when someone finally gets what you think they deserve. Those aren't mistakes in your programming. They're the real you, the parts you edit out before you speak, before you post, before you look in the mirror. You want to believe that darkness was put there by someone else, your parents, the world, circumstance. It's easier that way, isn't it? Because if it's not your fault, then you can stay the victim. You can keep pretending you're innocent while your shadow does the heavy lifting. But deep down, you know better. You've seen what you're capable of when no one's watching. You've felt the satisfaction of hurting someone just a little. Enough to feel power again. That's not a glitch in your system. That's your nature. And you've been denying it your whole life. You think you're the hero of your story. You're not, you never were. You're the villain pretending to be good. And every time you lie about it, you sink deeper into the role. The tragedy is that you think you're still writing your story, but you're not. Your shadow took the pen a long time ago. You built your entire identity on the idea that you're a good person. That belief keeps you sane. It keeps you comfortable, because the alternative, accepting that your kindness is strategic, that your empathy has conditions, would burn everything you are to the ground. You say you care about people, but what you really care about is control, approval, the illusion of being the one who always does the right thing. You help others not because it's pure, but because it makes you feel superior to the ones who don't. You forgive not because you've healed, but because you like the way forgiveness makes you look. And when you do something cruel, you wrap it in justification. You tell yourself they deserved it. You tell yourself, it wasn't my fault. That's your favorite trick, isn't it? Turning every act of selfishness into a lesson for someone else. Every wound you cause becomes a moral performance, proof that you're still the protagonist. But tell me this, if your goodness disappears the moment you're not being watched, was it ever real? When no one's around to applaud you, when there's no audience to validate your compassion, what's left? That silence you feel, that emptiness, that's not peace. That's your shadow whispering, now we can finally be honest. Goodness for most people is just fear in disguise. Fear of being punished. Fear of being rejected. Fear of seeing who they really are when the lights go out. And the funny thing about fear, it always looks for somewhere to hide. So it dresses up as virtue. It smiles, it speaks softly. It posts quotes about healing and love. And it hopes, desperately, that no one sees the rot underneath. But you can't hide rot forever. You can only perfume it, and the more you try to smell like heaven, the more you start to reek of desperation. It always happens the same way, quietly, subtly. One small crack in the glass. You're holding everything together, smiling, agreeing, performing the role you rehearsed. And then something snaps. Someone crosses a line. Life pushes you too far, and suddenly that calm, polite version of you starts to dissolve. You feel it, don't you? That surge behind your ribs. That heat crawling up your spine. It's not rage, not really, it's relief. Because for the first time, you're not pretending. You stop caring about how you sound, how you look, how they'll judge you. The filter breaks, the mask falls, and what comes out isn't the monster you feared. It's the part of you that finally got tired of being buried alive. You call it losing control. But what if that moment, that explosion, is the only time you've ever been honest? What if all your politeness, all your calm, all your restraint were the lies? You've spent your life trying to kill the parts of you that were too raw, too selfish, too loud. But those were the parts that were real. And when they finally break through, when your shadow steps forward, you'll recognize it immediately. Not because it looks different, but because it feels familiar. Because deep down, you've always known it was there, watching, waiting. That version of you doesn't care about being liked. It doesn't care about being understood. It only cares about truth. The truth that your kindness was convenience. The truth that your virtue was camouflage. The truth that you've been playing hero in a story written by your own denial. So when the mask breaks, don't call it madness. Call it exposure. You're not losing yourself. You're finally seeing yourself. You've spent your whole life trying to silence the parts of you that scared you. The anger, the envy, the hunger for power, the desire to win even when it cost someone else. You called those instincts evil, toxic, unhealthy. But what if they were never meant to be erased? What if they were meant to be mastered? You were told to be kind, to forgive, to let go, to rise above. But all that ever did was teach you to suppress the fire burning inside you. You don't transcend your darkness by denying it. You transcend it by learning to hold it without flinching. The parts of you that frighten you, those are your sharpest tools. They were only dangerous because you kept them locked in the dark. Power isn't born in the light. It's forged in the shadows, in confrontation. In the moment you stop apologizing for what you are and start shaping it. Jung called it individuation. I call it evolution. Because when you finally accept your shadow, you stop reacting to it. You stop being its puppet. You start giving it orders. The world fears people who have met their darkness and survived it. Not because they're cruel, but because they're free. They don't seek validation. They don't need permission. They've seen what they're capable of. And that truth has burned the illusion of innocence right out of them. That's real strength, the kind you can't fake, the kind no one can take from you. You've been taught to worship your light, but the light without shadow is blindness. Purity without darkness is fragility. The balance you're searching for isn't peace, it's power. The moment you stop running from the villain within you, you'll realize he was never your enemy. He was your teacher. The villain doesn't want to destroy you. He wants to train you. He wants you to stop lying, stop apologizing, stop pretending. He wants you to see the full spectrum of who you are. Because only then, only when you look the monster in the eye, do you become whole. Now that you've seen it, the thing you've been hiding from, tell me, what will you do with it? Will you keep pretending it's not there? Keep smiling, keep posting, keep performing the character you built to feel safe? Or will you finally look it in the eye? Because the truth doesn't vanish when ignored. It just waits. And it's been waiting for you for a long time. You call it your darkness, your flaws, your bad habits. I call it your blueprint. Every lie, every act of cruelty, every selfish thought. It wasn't corruption, it was instruction. You just refused to learn. You wanted to be pure, but purity is sterile. You wanted to be loved, but love without truth is dependency. You wanted peace, but peace without honesty is rot. People think the villain lives in others, in the ones who hurt them, betray them, manipulate them. But the villain isn't out there. He's the whisper that tells you the truth you don't want to hear. He's the one who watches you pretend to be kind when you're really scared. The one who laughs every time you say, "I'm fine." And here's the cruelest part. The villain never needed your permission to exist, only your denial. The more you run from him, the stronger he gets. The moment you turn around, the moment you stop running and stare into that mirror, you'll see it. He was never chasing you. He was walking beside you the entire time. So here's the final lesson. You can't kill what you refuse to confront. You can't heal what you keep pretending doesn't hurt. You can't become whole while rejecting half of yourself. You are both the wound and the knife, both the mask and the monster, both the lie and the truth. And now that you know, you can't unknow, so go on. Look again. That reflection, the one that just blinked before you did. That's not your shadow. That's you, the real one, the one who's been waiting to be seen. And if you still think you're the hero, if you still think you're above it all, then close this video and go back to your affirmations. Draw a heart around your favorite quote and tell yourself you're healing. But if something inside you just went still, if a part of you recognized what I just said, then congratulations, you've met your villain. Now learn to live with him.